Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com. Time to talk some college basketball. I'm Steve Sparky, Fifer from the Wendy's Big Show on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP, weekday afternoons from 2 until 6. He is Greg Giesen of the Racine Journal-Times. Now, let's start off first with news of Marquette before we get to the Badgers in the Final Four. Marquette makes their decision and made it kind of quickly. Once they got the president, they moved swiftly. Within about a week, they found their head coach. Initial indications were that they had interest in Ben Howland, the former UCLA head coach. Not really sure they ever even got that conversation going. We know he called them, apparently, according to reports. Then they meet with Quanzo Martin in Tennessee. They can't get the deal done, so they hop aboard a plane or whatever the case may be, and they fly to Duke to go see Steve Wojciechowski, who I like because he's a short guy like me. I mean, I'm a big fan. So they go talk to him, and they hire him. Now, he's been at Duke for over 15 years. According to Wojciechowski, he's had several other job offers that he's turned down. He wanted something that kind of fit him and his style, kind of like Duke, a basketball tradition, a basketball school, someplace where he could raise his kids and all that. And I get that. Do you like the hire?
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
I mean, you went after Shaka. That didn't happen. You went after Martin. He went back for more money, and
I think he knew. This is my theory. He knew they were hiring Wojo. That's why he backed out the prior night. Because this happens all the time in sports. When you find out another candidate's getting the job, you want to go out in front and go, no, I really didn't want it. And then you back out, so it doesn't make it look like you wanted it, but you didn't get it. This happens all the time.
On the flip side, he's getting new contract negotiations with Tennessee,
right.
So it could have been a little of both.
And remember, that fan base was lobbying for Bruce Pearl to be the head coach during the season last year. He got on a run in the NCAA tournament to save himself.
Yes, and in his case, I don't know that he's going to be at Tennessee that long.
Right.
That said, we're talking about Marquette, and you guys last week basically said you wanted a recruiter.
Yes.
And
he's got a pipeline out of Chicago right now.
Wojo is a recruiter.
Yes.
You got your guy. The only problem I have with it, and it's small, is that you were at the footsteps of really, I mean, it was a strong program. Buzz left, pretty good recruiting class, top 20 recruiting class coming in, if you're able to retain them.
He's got 5 recruits, 3 in the top 100, I believe.
Right. You bring those guys in. Now, your cupboard is pretty full then. You're going to be doing all right. My question is, how long is he going to be here? Is he the guy that is going to sit there and say, you know what, I like Milwaukee, I like being here, and you're not going to worry in 5-6 years that he's going to walk away? Because if you build this program and you continue to do what Creans did, what Buzz did, and you take that next step, you go from Elite Eight to 2 years ago to Final Four, and start contending in it to become a top 10 program consistently, is he going to up and leave when Coach K decides it's time for me to retire?
Can I just say something about that? No, but I just want to say something here. I like that they hired Wojciechowski, and I'm on the bandwagon for Wojciechowski. Okay, so don't get me wrong here, but why does everybody think this guy is the next coming of Krzyzewski? I don't get it. You have Tommy Amaker, who's winning at Harvard, who just turned down a job. Mike Bray's at Notre Dame. He's been there forever, another one of his guys. You have Dawkins, who's at Stanford, who did pretty good this year at Stanford. You've got guys everywhere that are off of that tree. There is no guarantee, nor was there ever a guarantee, that Wojciechowski was going to be that guy. In fact, Wojciechowski's even said, Krzyzewski never said I was going to be the guy to replace him. Krzyzewski never really said how long he was going to be there. He always told Wojciechowski, just be patient. You'll know it when it comes as far as the right job for you. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I haven't had a chance to talk to Wojciechowski yet. I think Wojciechowski looks at Marquette and says, why can't I do at Marquette what we did at Duke? Why can't I do it there? Because Duke football has been non-existent up until the last couple of years, until Cutcliffe got there and started turning it around. So why can't I do that? If I've got a pipeline in Chicago, why can't I get a Jabari Parker to come to Marquette? Why can't I get that guy?
He can. And the fact of the matter is he can continue to build.
Right.
I honestly believe that they have a good guy. Bill Cords, he got Kevin O'Neill to rebuild the program. And that was amazing. Mike Crean came in.
Mike Dean.
Okay, we all make mistakes.
That's what's true. That's all you can say.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. That's
And-
really the only one he's made.
Yeah.
Crean got to a Final Four with Wade.
Yeah.
Buzz came in after being an assistant for Crean for like 1 year and quitting New Orleans after 1 year of head coach. You had no idea what that was all about. I thought it was a huge gamble. I didn't know what they were doing. Because remember, they went after Sean Miller. Cords went after Sean Miller first, and Miller went to Arizona instead and took the Arizona job, which obviously worked out good for Sean Miller. But at this point, now you look at this hiring. Cords has said, as athletic director, okay, I'll stay for another year, but then there's going to be a new AD. And I hope and pray that Wojciechowski told Cords, look, I'll take this job. But I'm only taking this job as if I get to sit in and help pick this new AD. Because I have to be on board with the new AD.
I think that was essential.
That
had to have happened. And I think when you're leaving Duke and you're talking about the right situation, and you look at this school and how much money they spend on basketball.
But Marquette's right there with you.
No, I'm saying that's
right.
That's why you would move. That's the right situation. Yeah. You have that money. You don't have a football program. You can build it. I think he's going to be fine. I think, you look at the hires that Cords has made, and I'm not always the biggest fan of Bill Cords, but you look at that. Kevin O'Neill, after having a losing season his second year after Tony Smith graduated, right. They go Sweet 16.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you bring in Mike Dean, caretaker, but they got rid of him at the right time.
Right.
They bring in Crean, Final Four. Buzz, Elite Eight. You're making the right choices. I feel confident that they brought in the right guy. And, the alumni who came before me are all sitting there hoping, oh, please may it be Al again, the Al time again, right. And we can have a guy that stays forever. I don't know that happens in college basketball anymore.
It doesn't happen a lot.
No, and there may be 3 or 4 jobs, at the most 5.
You got Bo Ryan at Wisconsin.
You got Bo Ryan at Wisconsin, you got Coach K, you got Roy Williams. Izzo. Those are elite jobs that people have connections to that they want to stay at. Okay, that's fine.
Look at Roy Williams. He was at Kansas and left.
Yeah.
And everybody thought he ain't leaving Kansas, and then he ends up going to North Carolina. Yep. And I don't see Bill Self leaving Kansas anytime soon either.
And there are those elite jobs, and there's the hope that Marquette might become that job. I don't know. And what this, people talk about Ben Howland. You knew if Ben Howland came, he was a long-term. He wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
And I think people wanted that consistency, and you knew he had Final Four on his resume. He could bring people in. Could he have controlled everyone? I don't know. But with Wojo, I like the hire. They made a good move. They're going to probably keep the incoming guys.
You think? You
but
so.
It might even.
Can they get Diamond Stone now?
I think that does a lot more to helping them get Diamond Stone.
Yes.
I talked with some alumni, and they were like, you know what? I think if Shaka comes, they're going to get Diamond Stone.
Right.
And, okay, that's fine. I don't know. But with this hire, there's a guy that got Jabari Parker.
But do you know what's funny,
though, Greg? You should be able to pull him in.
Okay, but this is what's funny to me. We're watching the Badgers in the Final Four, okay? Mm-hmm. Fine. We're debating, where's Diamond Stone going? Why hasn't Diamond Stone already said yes to Wisconsin? They're a Final Four program right now. And again, I'm not one that thought Bo would ever get this far, but you're at the Final Four, okay? Why isn't this a done deal? Diamond Stone has shown he can pull out and hit the jumper now a little bit. Mm-hmm. He can play inside, right? To me, I don't get why Guard and Bo Ryan, his assistant, Greg Guard, why they haven't closed Diamond Stone yet. I for the life of me, right now, you're at the Final Four. How is this not a done deal? I don't get it.
Give me again Diamond's choices. It's
everybody. Everybody in the country. He's got everybody.
He's been narrowing it down.
Whatever. Until he actually says something there where he's going.
It doesn't mean anything.
No.
But my point is basically, you have options. Take your time. Figure out exactly what you want to do.
You can't let him get out of the state. You just can't. Wisconsin, Marquette, one of you, please don't let this kid get out of the state. You let Looney get out of the state, and Looney looked pretty good in the McDonald's All-American game for UCLA the other night. So regardless. Okay, so what about the Badgers? Final Four against Kentucky. again, it may be Kaminsky. It may be the Kaminsky show again because they don't have anybody that matches up against Kaminsky for Kentucky.
No, I don't think anybody has anyone that matches up against Kaminsky when he's on.
Right.
I mean, the question I look at this, the thing that I think benefits the Badgers more than anything else is the fact that you have a team that is experienced, that has an experienced coach, that they've played together. You know, you're not talking about a bunch of freshmen.
Yeah.
And when you're
Those bunch of freshmen, though, are probably more talented than what you have on your roster.
That's true, but I will say this: I've listened to you and Gary for years, and when you look at the NBA, typically the team with the most athletes and the most talent will always win out in the end.
Correct.
And as you move forward, the Bucks might be able to pull one game away from the Heat, but they're not going to win in a 5 to 7 game series.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. With the NCAA,
All you need is one game.
yeah, we only need one game plus a team that works together and has experience working together more than, say, a year, does have that advantage. And that can play out in one game to get ahead. Now, the question I have with it is, going forward, did they, I don't want to make this analogy, but when you look at like when Marquette went to the Elite Eight and went to the Final Four, they had amazing games right beforehand.
Sure.
The Badgers had an amazing game against Arizona where they pulled it out. Did they use it there?
Kentucky had one too, though.
Yeah,
it came down
Kentucky
here
did
for
too.
Kentucky too. They had the same situation. Now, for me, advantage Wisconsin is this: the history of Coach Calipari when he was at UMass, Memphis, and Kentucky, all of his college teams tend to become undisciplined and unfocused when they get into situations where they have to play half-court defense for a shot clock. That does not work well normally for them, and for Calipari teams. Now, maybe this team will be different, but I just really think the way the Badgers run their offense right now, and they are running at a high level, if they play their game on offense, passing, cutting, making the right shot, not forcing bad shots, they're going to give Kentucky problems because Kentucky will have breakdowns on the defensive side of the floor. And I think that's how Wisconsin wins. Now, if Wisconsin turns over the ball and we get up and down the floor, the Badgers could get blown out of the gym.
I also think that if you look at when they had their losing streak mid-season, if they come out and they have trouble hitting the jumper, or if they struggle from the outside, it's going to be a long night. Because then you are going up and down the floor. Though I also have to give Bo a lot of credit because I haven't seen a coach make halftime adjustments like Bo Ryan has this tournament.
And the other thing about Bo is, Bo's showing you, you give me a week, we're going to beat you.
Yeah.
Hey, he killed America, now again, it's American.
Yes.
Okay, fine. But now he gets a week for Oregon and blows them out of the water. And now he gets a week for Coach Cal and Kentucky. Now, again, so far we've seen Bo, you give him a week to prepare for somebody, and he's going to pick you apart and make you look goofy. So we'll see if he can do it again.
And I'll throw this out, too. What's also kind of being forgotten is you look at the coaches that are there in the Final Four. These are all...
No, not all. Kevin Ollie is not.
These are all... Wait, I didn't say championship winning coaches.
Not even that.
Very capable coaches. But what people forget about Bo Ryan is, and it's easy to forget, the guy's been through tournament experience.
No, I agree.
He's got rings. They're at division.
Billy Donovan's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I think Calipari is probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And Bo, I think with this probably is going to be considered.
Getting close.
Okay? Well, with all this stuff, because it's college basketball, right? So all the stuff he did at Platteville gets thrown into this. He probably gets in. Kevin Ollie is the one with the least amount of experience, doesn't belong in the class of these other three coaches to this point. That's where it is. The difference is he's got a difference maker in Shabazz Napier right now who's playing out of his mind. I think Florida gets Connecticut in this game, and I think Wisconsin gets Kentucky, and I think the Wisconsin Badgers are in a national championship game. I can't believe I'm saying it.
I really can't believe that. As a person who graduated from Marquette, I'm sitting here thinking, can this really be I can't fathom this. But it is happening, and you look at it, I never thought I would ever say, the Badgers have a real legitimate shot at knocking off Kentucky in the Final Four. Florida, you know what? I know they beat them earlier this year, but Florida wasn't at full strength.
No, but Florida's going to beat UConn.
Yeah,
okay.
They are.
And do you think Wisconsin beats Kentucky? That's where we're
at.
Okay, so that's where we're at. That's where we're leaving. He's Greg Giesen.
You don't want to go that next step?
No. Racine Journal Times, I'm Steve Sparky. Fifer, I don't want to jinx it. So
You don't want to jinx
let's
it.
just see if we get there, and then we'll figure out the rest after that. Steve
Yeah,
Sparky,
we'll talk
Fifer.
next Thursday. We'll talk next Wednesday, next Thursday, and
Talk about what happened.
With.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Steve Sparky and Fifer from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sports Junkies, talking a little college hoops here at RacineSportsZone.com. Ta-ta.